Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds in the studio on a Thursday morning. So now that we're in the postseason, of course, everyone's trying to digest what happened last weekend. And, of course, Travis Kelce and his brother do a podcast, and there was some back and forth about, you know, the game, what they've accomplished as a team, what he's accomplished, and, of course, his possible future.
Well, I was under the impression that he had already said that he was going to be coming back. That may have been euphoria. You know, you're filled with a season-long victory. You've won all these games, and you're the center of attention and so forth and so on. But he did on this podcast waver, and I'm wondering a little bit about that. He said, I'll make that decision. The decision as far as the future is concerned, it's going to take time. So I have a feeling that he may be getting some pressure from certain individuals, if you get my drift, that maybe it's time. He is 35 years old, and as a matter of fact, might get as cruel as it might be, this is a business, and the Chiefs might not want him back, or at least as a player, maybe in some other capacity, but all that's to be considered. There's talk to be going on, but I don't think there's anything definitive yet.
And, of course, we did have a wide receiver that's no longer a part of the team, by the way, a former Kansas City Chief, getting a little bit of trouble with the law.
Mike, I've got to tell you, I'm not surprised. When he was at Florida, this is Kadarius Toney we're talking about now. He's a fine player, great player. He has a lot of quickness and so forth. I'm not sure he concentrates all that much. But he goes to the New York Giants, and he's injured all the time. He's the number one draft choice. When the Giants and the Chiefs agreed to make a deal, was it October or November a couple of years ago, but whenever it was, the New York fans texted those in Kansas City and said, all right, you got him now, which leads me to believe it's more than just injuries. This guy may have been a bit of a troublemaker in the clubhouse. And then he never really made himself a star of any sort or a valuable piece of Chiefs property. I think the guy was trouble. I think he's got problems, real problems. But he is in that barred hotel at the moment in Georgia after apparently, allegedly anyway, strangling a woman and nearly doing her in. And his bond is $25,000. So, well, you know, you give everybody the benefit of the doubt that this guy's had his problems.
Definitely has. All right, let's talk about something a little bit safer. Where are we playing golf this weekend?
We are playing golf at Torrey Pines, which is in La Jolla, California. That is not where this tournament was supposed to be. This is the Genesis, and this tournament is sponsored by Tiger Woods. This is one of his big foundations. Woods was going to play in this competition. Now he is not. He's bowed out because of the passing of his mother last week. So, beside that point, the tournament was to have been held at Riviera. That's the Los Angeles Country Club, the Riviera Country Club. But it's in Pacific Palisades. It was not harmed by the fires, but all around it was. So the PGA said, well, okay, this is not a good scenario for golf. Let's move the tournament. So they moved it down south to La Jolla, which is part of San Diego. And the competition will go on starting today, weather permitting, because they have quite a bit of moisture coming in off the Pacific, and look at the gamut they have run in Southern California. Dry conditions all fall, horrible fires, and now all of a sudden they have too much water. Jeez, where does this happen?
The bears starting to emerge? Is that what we're seeing?
They've been in hibernation, and I watched the game last night. Where has this team been, for heaven's sake? Well, the name of the game is basketball, and you put the ball in the basket and you get points. Well, the Bears have had just a devil of a time doing that this year. This is Missouri State we're talking about. But last night they shot 52% from the perimeter. 52%. And they knocked off Evansville and get that win number 2. 71-54 is the final. The Bears get the victory. That's their second conference win of the year. They're 2-13 on the season as far as the conference is concerned. Well, the season, no, it's virtually over. You have several more regular season games remaining and then the conference tournament. But Having said that, I did like the way these kids played. They were together. Evansville's not exactly the world beaters, not exactly Duke or UCLA or anybody like that. But nonetheless, the Bears did play pretty good basketball. They played team basketball, and they get a win, and that is what counts. Bears 71, Evansville 54.
They weren't the only ones victorious yesterday. Mizzou got a big win, didn't they?
Mizzou played what I thought, and still do, was a very good Oklahoma basketball team. Porter Mosier, their coach, he's the former Missouri Valley coach. He's had his team playing well. At one time this year, Oklahoma was 13-0 on the year. And I mean, they're beating everybody, nationally ranked and really coming on. But now comes Southeastern Conference play, and that's a different story. Missouri ran the Sooners right out of Columbia. 82-58 was the final score up in Columbia. Missouri's a good team. They are, in a sense, at a different level, but they're like the Bears. They're not consistent, but when they can play the basketball game, Dennis Gates has his team playing well. They're strong, they're powerful, and that is a big win for Missouri, 82-58. They play the conference tournament, Southeastern Conference tournament, coming up in just about a month down in Nashville. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Tigers do some big-time damage in that one.
Absolutely. Last but not least, as we know, when the Super Bowl happens, Daytona 500's just around the corner. What's the situation with the pole position?
You know, I get so doggone annoyed at these TV networks, the way they do things. They think they're getting a leg up on everybody by having events at late at night. Now, late at night is, I guess, arguable. Some people do stay up late at night. I'm not especially one of them. The pole position, which is a big deal for the Daytona 500, was won last night by Chase Briscoe. It was about 11 o'clock last night that they put it away. Chase Briscoe, who's one of the young and up-and-coming drivers on the NASCAR circuit, 182 miles an hour, he just barely nudged the rest of the field. And now he'll sit on the pole. It's a two-row pole. Sindrich and Sindrich will be on the outside. And then they'll line it up. The rest of the field will be decided tonight when they have the twin, they call it the duel at Daytona, the twin 150-mile races. That decides the rest of the field. And then the Daytona 500 is coming up on Sunday. So, yeah, spring has to be here.
It's knocking on the door. Doesn't feel like it now, but it's coming. Ned, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.